Hello and welcome to Chandara Academy. Sumsakun Mokan Chandara Academy. In today's video, we are going to calculate the following limits. We will have two limits each, which will have the form 0 over 0, which is an undefined form. We cannot conclude. In x tends to 0 for both, sinus of 5x will tend to 0. This is the first 0. And we will have something like square root of 3 minus square root of 3, which is 0 as well. Almost same thing here. We will have to do a little bit of work on both expressions to get to the right result. Let's start with the first one. We are going to call this function f of x and this function g of x. Perfect. What do we know? So let's rewrite for all x different from 0, obviously, because in 0 there is a problem. F of x is equal to sinus of 5x over square root of x plus 3 minus square root of 3. What do we know about the limit of sinus over something that is equal to 0? We do know the limit, and this is something that you need to know. The limit when something tends to 0 of sinus of this same thing over the same thing. Okay, and here we will want later to make appear a 5x at the bottom as well. But first we need to get rid of this one, especially these square roots, because we hate square roots. Okay, square roots, we hate them. So how will we be doing that? We have to remember, as always, when we want to make disappear some square roots, the identity a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. And here you can see that we can identify this thing a, this thing b. And so if we multiply by the complement at the bottom and at the top, we will get rid of the square root at the bottom. And maybe it will be easier for us to deal with. Let's do it. F of x is equal to sinus of 5x, same thing, over square root of x plus 3 minus square root of 3, and we want to multiply by the complement of this at the top and at the bottom. Let's start with the bottom, square root of x plus 3 plus square root of 3, and at the top, same thing, square root of x plus 3 plus square root of 3, because if we do it at the bottom, we have to do it at the top. Now let's simplify the bottom. We still have here sinus of 5x times square root of x plus 3 plus square root of 3. That will tend to something that we know in 0. Okay, in 0 there will be no problem. And at the bottom we have square root of x plus 3 squared, which is equal to x plus 3 minus b squared, so minus square root of 3 squared, which is minus 3. We can simplify those 3 together and we are left with this expression. Now we want to make appear a 5x at the bottom. And how to do that? We multiply by 5 at the bottom, and we have to do it at the top as well. And now we are left with 5 times square root of x plus 3 plus square root of 3 times sinus of 5x over x over 5x. And we will have 5 that will go to 5, obviously. The arrow means when x tends to 0. This will tend to square root of 3, this will tend to square root of 3, and this will tend to 1. And so we have 1. We have 1 all the exercise. This will tend, when x tends to 0, to 5 times 2 square root of 3. Okay, so square root of 3 plus square root of 3 times 1, which is equal to 10 square root of 3. And in conclusion, a is equal to 10 square root of 3, because a was the limit. Perfect. Now second one, which is a lot easier, we have the same thing, okay? So sinus of 3x over minus 2x. What we will want to do? We will want to make appear a 3x at the top, because the limit of sinus of x over x when x tends to 0 is also equal to the limit of x over sinus of x when x tends to 0, and this is equal to 1. And here we will use this identity here, g of x, as we called it. This one is g of x. G of x is equal to what? Of course, for all x different from 0, this is equal to minus 2x over 5 sinus of 3x. We will want to make appear a 3 at the top and at the bottom, so times 3 times 3. And this thing is equal to, we keep the minus 2 here, times 3x over 3 times 5, which is 15, times sinus of 3x. We can write it like that to separate both, and we have this thing that will tend, when x tends to 0, to minus 2 over 15 still, times 1, and we have solved the exercise. B is equal to minus 2 over 15. Perfect. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Bye.